serious business. There is a lot happening. This happened out at Estrella Elementary School, or Estrella Elementary School. A teacher finds a gun in a student's backpack at an elementary school. This is in the Kyrene School District. Phoenix Police Department said officers responded to the school after 1 p.m. in a message to parents. They said they found a gun helping the student unpack the backpack. According to the school, police were immediately contacted. The gun was moved to a safe location. There's a lot of different directions to go with this conversation. We talk about education all the time and safety on campuses. It is my belief that we need to have school resource officers for a number of reasons. It isn't just about classroom safety and gun safety. There's a lot more that needs to be done. It is more than having an officer that is armed on site. I think that is a big piece of this. But what do you do about backpacks? Now, do we start, when you go to a sporting event, you're not allowed to carry in, like women can't carry in purses. And is that too gender specific to say women only carry purses? They have to have a clear package, a clear, and a certain size bag is what you can bring in to a stadium. There's a lot of different rules in place. I know an entertainment event like a football or a baseball game is different than going to a school, and I know we're talking about different things. Gun control advocates would say it's just about the guns and get rid of guns and everybody should give up their guns because we don't want schools looking like prisons, and it's an absurd argument. In my opinion, the absurdity of the argument is certainly there. Having choke points and localized points of entry that are locked down and the ability to lock down and communicate are all important things that need to be done. But also, you have to look at what's going on at the home. I live alone, so I'm not concerned when I'm in the house with locations of firearms. When I had kids and then when I had grandkids in my house, it was a completely different story. And you have to be responsible for that as the adult. And, we had our own way of doing things. My girls learned to shoot at a young age. I wanted them to be proficient with a firearm, and they were. They were very proficient, very comfortable around firearms. They understood firearm safety at a young age. They understood the power of a firearm because they had fired a gun before. So it's very difficult unless you have, some kind of derangement. When you point a gun at a target and you fire it for the first time, I don't care if it's a .22. It doesn't matter. You automatically have a respect for the power in that trigger, realizing that pointing that at anything is a real responsibility. And to think about pointing that at a human being is a overwhelming idea, and so it makes you want to be safer so you don't endanger somebody else's life. So there's a lot of different approaches for me when it comes to this issue. But we've been talking about teacher safety. That's one of the issues. It's why teachers are leaving the profession. And it leads me to a question that I don't have an answer to. And the question is, are we doing enough? You can never say it's 100%. So we're never going to get to 100% classroom or school safety. Are we doing enough with discipline? And then on the off chance where you have violence, and I'm talking about the extreme violence of a shooter in a school, are you doing everything you can to limit that possibility? Are you owning threats? We've been hearing about this dumb things on social media with these challenges where kids are making threats at school, but they're all a hoax and it's a prank in schools. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about time after time after time, people know that this happens, where students make threats, where kids that are troubled kids are making threats. One of the school shooters in recent years had the nickname school shooter. When it happened on campus, there were students of that high school that said, we knew if it ever happened at our school, it was going to be this kid. Those are all accurate quotes. That happened. It happened. And so now, what are we doing so that there is someone that sees this progression before it gets to be too late? Isn't that a part of it? Having a person or a group of people responsible that when these threats come in, that person is notified. So if somebody says something on the school bus or says something at recess or in gym class or on, on social media, that it goes to someone that watches the progression of this, that is monitoring it, and, trying to get with a team of people and deciding when it's time to intervene before something violent happens and having a sit down and talking with the parents. But when you have an elementary school kid with a gun in a backpack, how much further than the front door of their home? Now, according to the news story, the parents are being very cooperative with the police. I think that's a great thing. Accidents happen. But those are the questions we have to start asking. I think those are the questions we have to keep asking. The idea that just taking away guns, that's the answer, is, first of all, not going to happen. So resign yourself to the fact that it's not going to happen. And then beyond that, what are some reasonable things that can be done to make places as safe as possible?